So, if Terrence Crawford manages to beat Canelo, does he become number 1 pound for pound? Now, the answer to this question is that it depends. Now, what does it depend on? So, if you look at the three-headed dragons, you obviously got Usyk at the top, in my opinion. You got Inoue and you got Crawford. They're the three fighters that I believe are the number 3 pound for pound. Okay, so in my opinion, I put Crawford um in front of Inouye. So I've got Inouye as number three. I've got Crawford as number two, and I've got Usyk as number one. Now the reason why I had Usyk as number one is he's usually fighting people that are way bigger than himself. He already became undisputed at cruiserweight, one of the greatest cruiserweights that's ever lived, arguably the greatest in my opinion. He obviously cleaned out the heavyweight division and he beat everyone that was there to beat, and he's obviously undisputed at heavyweight. But one thing we need to take into account is that heavyweight, there's no weight limit, so he can literally be fighting people that are 3-4 stones higher than him, like the likes of Tyson Fury, and have a reach advantage and a size advantage and a height advantage. Yet he manages to beat them. So in my opinion, he's the definition of a pound for pound number one. Inouye, everything he's accomplished, obviously he's won world titles in 4 weight classes, but he's become undisputed in two. The fact that he's doing this in such a young age is incredible. The only knock against him, and the reason why I've got Crawford higher than him, is I believe Crawford has had higher level of opposition, like more high profile wins, like the likes of being Errol Spence, and obviously he's going to fight Crawford, Canelo now. So these wins and these fighters are at a high level, but I think there's a chance that Inouye can become number 1 pound for pound if he beats Nakatani, if he beats Nick Ball, if he beats Bam Bam Rodriguez. In my opinion, he can easily become number 2 or number 1. But the reason why I said it depends is that for Crawford to beat Canelo, for him to be number 1 pound for pound, I think Usyk is at the end of his career, so he's going to retire very soon. I think I can see that he's slowed down. I can see that he's not as quick as he once was. I can see that he's coming to the end of his career, so he's probably got a handful of fights left. After he retires, the two fighters that's going to be on top is obviously going to be Crawford and it's going to be Inouye. Okay, so obviously Crawford, he is nearing the end of his career as well. He's not as long in the tooth as Usyk, but he's not that far behind. I think he's got several fights left, and then he's going to be thinking about retirement. Ironically, Inouye is the youngest out of all of them. Obviously, Inouye, Crawford, and Usyk, the three-headed dragons. But in my opinion, he's the youngest, but he has said that he's thinking of retirement soon. But just in case, right? If Crawford was to beat Canelo, it would be a huge victory. Not just because of the size advantage. The last time we've seen him fight at light middleweight, he didn't look that impressive against Madronov. Now, Madronov is obviously a different style to Canelo. He's not going to move around as much. Canelo is. Canelo isn't going to move around as much as Madronov. But what needs to be said is if he struggled with an opponent at light middleweight, for him to go up 2 more weight classes and beat Canelo at super middleweight would be incredible, right? On top of everything Canelo's accomplished, for Crawford to do that on top of everything he accomplished, for example, becoming undisputed in 2 weight classes, winning world titles in 4, 5 weight classes, and being undefeated too, that would be an absolutely incredible victory, and it would put him on a very elite peer, because I believe such a huge weight jump, and he's fighting Canelo, who's many people for the longest time have had as number 1 pound for pound. It would be an incredible victory. Another reason why it will be such a massive victory, the fact is that Canelo is a cash cow, so to some extent he's protected. You literally have to knock him out or completely decisively outbox him to the point where there's no contention for you to get a decision win against him. So the craziness about it is, like, when it was announced that Bivol won against Canelo, it was a massive shock to the whole boxing community because everyone knows he won that fight. It was clear as day. But the fact that he got the decision was huge because of the fact that Canelo is such a cash cow. He's got the politics on his side. He's got the judges in his pocket. For you to get a victory against Canelo, you literally have to whitewash him the way Mayweather did. And even Mayweather, when he beat Canelo, one of the judges had it a draw, which is incredible. That the judges' scorecards were incredible for that fight. Even though Mayweather completely whitewashed him, he almost got not robbed, but they tried to make it closer than it actually was. So, in my opinion, Crawford beating Canelo would be a huge victory. It would be massive. It would be absolutely huge. Would it make him number 1 pound for pound? It depends on what the fighters above him do. So the likes of Inoue, if Inoue goes on to beat Nakatani, beat Bam Bam Rodriguez, beat Nick Ball, that would potentially put him over Crawford. If Usyk goes on to beat Caballero, beat Joseph Parker, that might potentially put him over Crawford. But Crawford, if he gets a victory against Canelo, you could argue that he is number 1 pound for pound because of the magnitude of such a victory would be huge. I personally don't think Crawford's going to do it because I think the politics is against him. I think Canelo is such a big star that they wouldn't allow him to lose that way. But you tell me what you think. Do you think Crawford has a chance against beating Canelo? I'm going to make a separate video talking about that. Tell me what you think and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace.